Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. Today, we're on the FM3 with the latest 5.01 firmware, and I want to show you how to dial in auto volume swells on here. Normally, you would create a volume swell by starting with your guitar with the volume control all the way down. You would strike a note, and then you would rip this volume control up to increase the amount of gain going into your amplifier and creating a really iconic effect. I always think of the song Xanadu by Rush and Alex Lifeson's volume swells on there. Let me know in the comments what your favorite example of this effect is, but I'll give you a really quick example if you're unfamiliar. And for that particular core tone, I'm using the USA Lead mid-gain. I'm using my usual LT TV Mix 7 cabinet IR. You can get that one for free from Exchange. I'm using the stereo BBD, and I'm using the new Occult Verb 1 effect type in the Plex Delay on firmware 5.01. Okay, what if I don't want to have to constantly be ripping this volume knob up and down? What if I just want the FM3 to do that? Well, I can place a volume block before the amp. I'm going to engage it, and you can see I've selected the auto swell effect type from the little drop down menu here. I've also set the volume taper out of all the choices to be this S taper, which is actually just out of the screenshot, but you can see I selected that one. That's new in firmware 5.01 as well. And what you want to do is play around with the attack and the threshold. The threshold will control when this effect kicks in, and the attack will control how long it takes to swell up to full volume. Let's have a listen to where I've got it at the moment. I've got the threshold at -40 and the attack just below 300 milliseconds. I personally really like those slower attack times. Let's try it at maybe 400 milliseconds, but you can hear some of the notes kind of get cut off there, especially on this guitar. Even though it's an Ingve Strat, it has really low output pickups. So I'm going to bring the threshold down a little bit to about -45. Let's have a listen to it now. If you want a more immediate effect, try bringing the attack down. Let's halve it. Let's go 200 milliseconds, and I'll do the same thing again. It's an absolutely gorgeous effect. What I would recommend is if you want to play lines where the notes are a lot closer together, so you're playing a little bit faster, make sure you play with a very staccato attack on the guitar. So you don't actually have to let these notes ring out as long as you normally would if you were playing, say, a smooth legato line. The fact that we've got this giant Plex delay and delay on there is going to add to that overall effect. So using the auto swell in the volume and pan block is probably the most straightforward way to do this, but we can do it another way. In firmware 5.01, there's this new modern gate type in the gate and expander section. So I've set up the modern gate. I've set attack, hold, and release at 50 milliseconds to start, and I've set the threshold to -56 and the attenuation to -54. This is the effect that I get out of it, very similar to what we just had, but you do have more control over the hold and release time here. You can also play around with the total amount of attenuation here if you don't want your swells to go all the way back down to 0. So I've set the attenuation to around -40. I've increased the attack and decreased the release time on here. This is what it sounds like now. It's a little trickier to wrap your head around that one, and personally I prefer that for the slower swells on there, but it is a great option to have, and I would highly encourage you to play around with either the gate or the volume block. Now, what's really fun with this, and what I'm going to play you out with, is I'm going to go to the Plex Delay and I'm going to assign a control switch to the stack parameter in here. So I'll right click that. I'm going to go with control switch number 3, which I have assigned to a foot switch on the FM3 just down here. And we'll have it so that the maximum value goes to stack on there. Alrighty, what I'm going to do now is use the modern gate for some really slow swells on here, and these are going to be frozen by the Plex Delay and layered on there. It's a really, really inspiring effect, and I have spent a lot of time today getting ready for this video just playing around with this particular combination. If you have any specific questions or requests for future Tuesday tone tips, put them in the comments section below, and I will see you all next time. Thanks so much for watching.